Welcome to another episode of the conversation right here at Quest Television. I'm Prince Soji. And on this episode of the conversation, we'll take a look at the youth and nation building. What role should the youth demographic of Nigeria play in enhancing in building Nigeria up? Of course, there's a popular quote that says a nation's future is not built by its leaders alone. It is shaped by the vision, the energy, and actions of its young population. 70% of Nigeria's population today largely rests under 35. Young people remain the country's greatest asset. But are they truly playing their role in nation building? Or are they being held back by unemployment, poor governance, and limited opportunities? From politics and entrepreneurship to innovation, education, and civic engagement, what responsibilities do Nigerian youth have in shaping the country they want to see? And what must government and society do to empower this generation to drive meaningful change? This afternoon on The Conversation, we explore the role of the Nigerian youth in nation building. This is a timely conversation on responsibility, opportunity, and the future of Nigeria. And most importantly, as we build up to the 2027 election, littered around Nigeria, you have plethora of youths agitating for a change, calling out the government. But beyond just the social media noise, what must the Nigerian youth do to facilitate a change in the nation? Well, my guest this afternoon is Miracle Samuel, and we'll be doing justice to this conversation, the youth and nation building. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So, first of all, it's a pleasure to have you on this table to have a conversation. Let me start by asking, when you look at the young population of Nigeria, what is your assessment of the youth in Nigeria today?
All right, that's a deep question, actually, but I have to make it very intentional. When we look at the youths of the nation, I did sociology as a course.
Okay.
And from a sociological perspective, I found out that we have what we call structural functionalism, which has to do that people in their cycle, they believe that the society cannot function alone.
Okay.
Then I think youth are not just the beneficiary of what is happening in this country. We are part of the active force, a change agent. Now, but looking at Nigeria as a case study, youth are at the other side of the end, and youth are like we are benefiting from these old elites. But on the other aspect of it, I think we should be actively participating. But when I look at the Nigerian youth, we are not actively participating. We are allowed on social media, yes, but we are not actively participating.
And that's a huge gap.
Yes, we are not actively participating. We are allowed on Twitter, on social media, but I think there's a room for intentional capacity building. If we must build the nation, there is a room for intentional capacity building. Beyond being loud on social media, we have to be intentionally build structures that can make us stand out in the nation. Because we keep saying this as the election is approaching. Funny enough, election comes and go. So in a few months to come now, you see us coming up again as Nigerian youth. We want a change. The big question is, what are we doing to ensure
And the change comes.
the change comes? So we are loud on talking, but we have to go back to the drawing board. What do we do to ensure that this change will come?
Let's build on that, because now you sufficiently justify that there is a gap between the talking and the doing.
True.
But let's take it bit by bit.
All right.
Now, Nigeria is designed in such a way, well, I believe it's as a result of the system already, that a young person cannot just rise without the helping hand of someone elderly.
True.
But on the other hand, there comes a point where the elderly person here, who is like a mentor to this younger person, begins to make demands. Let me give you a classic example. In the political space, the governor of Rivers State, Governor Similai Fubara, and his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, that's a classic example. Of course, a lot of people say there's a political dimension to it, but beyond the political dimension of it, well, if you read between the lines, you know that there is a demand on the current governor from his predecessor.
True.
So, can the youth of Nigeria grow, attain what they are seeing in the older generation without the helping hand of the older generation?
That looks quite better. Actually, the best place to start from life is leverage. The point of leverage. And now where I'm coming from this dimension, we can't actually do certain things without the leverage of those ahead of us. But far from that, I think the area I'm coming this afternoon is these guys, the Nigerian youths, we have to develop good perception about the country. Good perception about the country. That's where I think it's a game-changing strategy. In as much as we want to do this, we complain about this guy is not doing well, these guys are not doing well. The problem is not pointing at their errors. The problem is, what are we doing to ensure that when we get there, we do more than they are doing? So I think the first point is perception. How we see the country. You cannot change a nation that you have not desired to change. Go to the corners of every social media platform of every young person, at least majority, not all. Most of us don't believe that Nigeria will work again. And we are clamoring for change.
They were like saying something but believing differently.
Yes. So we have to have a right perception about the country. We have to believe the country, that this country is going to work. You see, the truth of the matter is we can talk as much as we want to talk, but the average Nigerian youth, they no longer believe the nation. It's looking like a competition. Like that's what we call conflict theory. A conflict because the societies believe that there's a group of people fighting for power. So they're like, this guy's already there. We have to do our way. That is where the Japa syndrome came in. The Yahoo came in. So these guys, literally, they might not say it. We are clamoring for change, but we don't say it. But from our action, you see that we're already giving up on the nation. So if we must build the nation of our dreams, then we must have a right perception. And we have to leverage on these guys.
You mean the elderly ones?
Yes, they are not.
But how can the Nigerian youth leverage on them when it's like a give and take kind of bargain?
True.
Because they will be forced at some point. In this field of journalism, I've had opportunities of speaking with people, and one of the things they say is the fact that I want to be this person. They have a picture of who they want to become. For instance, let's say I want to become the president of Nigeria in the next 30 years.
All right.
But they can't just walk into that just like that, literally. They need help. And the only people that they can go to help for are the people who these young people are calling what? Corrupt. So it's already a distorted, it's already well, the perception, like you said, okay, I'm calling this person corrupt, but it is still the same person I'm going to meet to help me. So how can they get to that vision?
All right, let me comment. The truth of the matter is, when you are approaching men for leverage, it's in two perspectives. Are you coming like somebody that is desperately in need of help? Now, look at when we have godfathers in politics. When maybe as a sitting governor, you want to put me in, and I don't have any leverage, no capacity. When you succeed in putting me in, I don't have any other option than to,
of course, succumb to
whatever you're going to bring. But if maybe I'm going to leverage on you, but I have built capacity. I know what I want.
Mm.
So that there's a power of negotiation.
So can you truly know what you want in this country, and like you stand on your own without forces, the godfatherism, critics? We have to put that into
Let's be real. You know, the truth of the matter is these things can be done.
in this Nigerian.
It can be done. I'm from Abia State, precise, and if you know the story behind the current governor of my state, you know that the man is a person of capacity. He tried 2 times, then the third one he emerged. So beyond what people see on social media, I can vividly tell you that my governor, he has track record. So coming into politics is not going to look like a new phase of assignment. This is what he has been doing. So he understand the games of leadership. Like they say, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. There's a part in that, in leadership. Then again, the next point I want to say here is, I think, okay, I'm a young minister actually, so there's no harm to do this conversation without bringing in the scriptural perspective. Now, the truth of the matter is, Joseph in the scripture, what brought him to the palace was favor. Let's just call it miracle. My name is Miracle. Yes, miracle brought him to the palace. But it was value. There was value this guy gave that not just the Pharaoh that helped him. Even the Pharaohs that came, they retained him because he was relevant to the society.
And he had capacity.
So if Nigerian youth can go back to the drawing board, yes, we have tried the social media aspect to change the nation, but I feel that we have to go back to the drawing board, build enough capacity, so that by the time we mention your name, you know, there are guys, when you call their names, you know what they do. Even if you're not a football fan, when you call certain names in football, you know that they are talking about football. Even in terms of ministry, in terms of every aspect of life. So we have to go back and build capacity, because I strongly believe that life will give us that opportunity. Most of the guys we call corrupt in politics currently, the truth of the matter is, there was a time, you can't tell me there was a time in their life when they were in the point of being a youth and they are standing, when we get to that place, we're going to change the system. But when they enter the system, they join the bandwagons and the same story keep repeating. So I think there's going to be I don't know if I should say this. I was discussing with one of my guys a few days back. I said, somebody said, he said that we have prayed in this nation. He said that God is not answering prayer based on giving us the leader of our choice. The guy said, he was very blunt. He said that God didn't answer that prayer. So I didn't want to be part of that conversation, but when God is at stake, I just have to, the least I can do is to defend who I believe. I said, no, God has answered the prayer. But the truth of the matter is, there is no structure to bring these prayers to pass. The basic thing which we do in church is to come and receive miracles. If we truly want to penetrate the system, there should be a department, as we have ushering department, protocol department. There should be systems, maybe a unit in church where people who are interested in politics and nation building is a calling. What was Joseph doing in the palace? We have to check the old to ensure that there is no difference.
The new one will bring. There is an example of the old that we can take from.
Yes. Now, the truth of the matter is, the leaders we say they are not doing so well. These guys are churchgoers. They show up in our churches. So what is the difference? The difference is we have not intentionally set up structure. Just like you went to university and I do too. We didn't pick some courses in school just because of hobby. These are kulu that was said that we passed. Even generations to come, they will still pass through a system. By the time you are done with 4 years, 5 years, you are getting a BS in this and that. So there should be a system where leaders are groomed. Even if you're the worst person on earth, because of the system you pass through, it will be difficult. But most of the guys we celebrate today, maybe who are in our political sectors, maybe they made money from business and they just want to use politics as a place of expression. They are just looking for power. So I think there should be an intentional structure that raise leaders. And when you match, definitely you're going to do well. Definitely the nation becomes a better place for us.
Let's talk about social media.
All right.
Because, well, I believe that social media has come to stay.
True.
And to stay it will.
Definitely. Definitely.
But can we really look into the effects of 21st century tools? 2 days ago, we're having a program here in the morning, and I told, I was having a conversation with my fellow co-anchors, and I told them I knew about some search engines like ChatGPT in my final year.
All right.
To me, I was unfortunate because
Really?
yeah, because many of my classmates then had already know about the tool way ahead of me. So the first thing they told me, I said, "Wow, really?" So there's a search engine that I can just impute, okay, what is photosynthesis, for instance,
Right.
and then it gives me what I don't even know beyond what I know.
Yes.
So, will you say that the Nigerian youth of today has truly maximized social media for the development of this country or for the destruction of Nigeria?
That's a deep question right there. I think it's going to be a 50-50 balance, because most of the things we do on social media, I think is focused on self. It's focused on self, and every leader, a youth that wants to change or build the nation must be selfless. Again, now we check the average youth on social media. We do our personal stuffs. We're not patriotic about this nation. So that's why I say that's where the change will come. So looking at it statistically, you discover that we have not made much impact using the social media in this country. I think that's the basic things I can say this afternoon, because the truth of the matter is this: when we come on social media, we are quick to we just have to we know the problem of Nigeria. We know the problem of Nigeria. The problem is, how do we find relevant solution to this? Go to TikTok and see what Nigerian youth are doing on TikTok. And the truth of the matter is, we have to redefine success. We have to do that. Because you have a large followership, you are successful. No, that's not the true essence of success. It's not the true essence of success. That's the truth of the matter. It's not the true essence of success. So because you see some guys, I don't want to mention names, they are following and they come up and talk nonsense, do certain things that are morally not correct. We give them thumbs up, because when you look back, they have fleets of cars, they have this and they have that. So every Nigerian youth wants to. So we have this blue mentality, and we are living the cogent issue. Blue mentality. I want to have large following because
at the expense of nation building.
Yes, at the expense of nation building. So if we must build the nation, there are certain things we have to forgo. There are certain things we have to let go to ensure that the nation is built. We have to have engaging conversations, bring in solution, have brainstorm of what is the next for us. Then, in this country, if you check very well, there is this unseen battle where the young is fighting with too young to rule. The average governor in this country should be 50-something. I don't think we have a governor who is at 30-something, 40-something in this country. I don't know. I'm just assuming, but I doubt. So the average age of a governor in this country is 50. So there is this, is not in constitution, but there is this invisible war that the young people are fighting. Too young to rule. And it has destabilized the youth. That's why somebody at 23 in Nigeria, if you talk about marriage, it looks like a very big thing. So the nation has, in a way, I don't know how to put it, but in a way, made us believe that we have to reach a certain age before we begin to make things happen.
It has cast more like, exactly. I think that's the best way to describe it. You must get to
a certain
something years of age, 30-something years of age before you become a president.
So which is not supposed to be so. So I think if we can channel the energy, re-strategize. Social media is not just for fun. This is a tool that can transform the nation. And it's as simple as that. What do we do with the social media? Because if we must build the nation, we have to be intentional with these tools. I told my guys one of the days that the reason why I'm on social media, there are people, no matter the influence God gives you, there are people, there are nations of the world that you cannot get to. Even if you have all the money, you don't have all the time to be everywhere. So social media is like a platform reaching the world from your comfort zone. There are people that will not come for your conferences and your meetings, but just like we We are on air now. You get. So these people have the access. So if we can use that mindset, then we can make the country a better place.
Okay.